I saw something take a critter out of the trap. It had an immense wingspan and a long beak. The thing flew and grabbed this coyote in a trap, pulling the trap stake right out of the ground, and it flew up over that mountain. It had an 18 to 20 foot wingspan.
This episode was brought to you by listeners like you. The Snallygaster was recommended to us on the Facebook group by Lucas Threlfall.
Thanks, Lucas.
Thanks, buddy. This is episode 15.
15, the Snallygaster. Tell me ahead of time.
This is Counting Cryptids, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Connor.
I'm Jacob.
Per usual.
Is this something that had been on your radar before?
Negative.
I had never heard of the Snallygaster.
Thank you, Lucas, for the new cryptid. We appreciate it. If you want to submit your cryptids to us to review and cover, please join the Facebook group and page at facebook.com/Counting Cryptids. You can also find us on Twitter at Count Cryptid. We are moderately active on both of those sites.
We're aware of what's happening there.
100%. If you message us or tag us, we will reply within 72 business hours. As we said before, we are covering the Snallygaster, which is a ridiculous-looking motherfucker.
Almost as ridiculous as the name.
Yes, the old Snallygaster.
It's likely based on the German Schnellgeist.
Schnellgeist.
Meaning quick spirit, and which to the Pennsylvania Dutch is most commonly associated with like slamming doors and droughts.
Okay.
Which is maybe
that I had not read, but the more you know.
Yeah, it's just I don't really understand the similarities between the two, other than just like, yeah, it's based on this name because they kind of sound similar, but like I never saw a description of a ghost looking like what this looks like.
Yeah, I mean, other than these German / well, what did you say? Dutch?
Pennsylvania Dutch.
Dutch, okay.
So
yeah.
that's
German Dutch immigrants. I don't know. But the earliest accounts were from German immigrants in the 1730s, way back.
Okay, so Pennsylvania Dutch is a dialect of High German spoken in the parts of Pennsylvania, German-speaking inhabitants of Pennsylvania. All I can think of is Dwight Schrute.
Dutch Schrute?
Dwight Schrute from The Office.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay.
I was making a Dutch connection. Before we get to the appearance, the Snallygaster was adopted in 2012 by a punk rock group which called themselves the Snallygasters. They're from Baltimore, Maryland, which is in similar area to where the Snallygaster is pretty famously known in. It is also going to be in the new Fallout game. If you're a Fallout fan,
76?
That one. There's also a beer festival in Washington, D.C.
That's sort of the area that this thing lives in. Sorry, was that all in your beer festival?
Yeah, they just call it their Beastly Beer Jamboree.
Okay. On that note, is said to inhabit Central Maryland, Washington, D.C. metro area. Particularly Frederick County, Maryland is where a lot of the instances took place as well.
But yeah, they're seen in that region. Like there's a few other states in that
the northeast, American Northeast,
yes.
The Appalachian area, kind of.
Yes, where all of the great Appalachian tales come from. The first person to encounter the being described it as having enormous wings, a sharp beak, claws like steel, and one eye in the middle of its head. He Same person said it made a screeching noise and looked like a cross between a tiger and a vampire. You just described two things. Do not correlate.
Yeah, it looked like this, that, and the other thing. It looked like a tiger.
Like picture a tiger and a vampire had babies.
And then those babies
fell into nuclear waste.
And at the same time, a dinosaur, a
squid.
pterosaur, and an octopus had a baby. And by some miracle, those two babies met and fucked. This would be the shit that they birthed.
Yeah.
Go over to social media and let me know what movie reference that is if you know off the top of your head.
In a lot of the pictures that I've seen, it is like, especially the one that Lucas shared on Facebook. We'll also link to a picture of that, I'm sure. It's got like tentacles coming out of its beak.
The tentacle face, yes. Okay, so it is sort of a dragon-like creature almost. Similar to last week.
Definitely.
I saw in at least one place up to 800 pounds, 20 to 30 foot wingspan, talons with 6 inches long. Do the chickens have large talons? The earliest incarnations of this creature mixed half bird features of a siren with those of demons and ghouls. The Snallygaster was described as half reptile, half bird with a metallic beak lined with sharp razor teeth, occasionally octopus-like tentacles. They may have been the exact same thing that Connor just read, but I'm only half paying attention. It swoops silently from the sky to pick up and carry off its victims. The earliest stories claimed that the monster sucked the blood of its victims.
I did see that as well.
Also, you had mentioned like a screech sound. I had seen it described as like a locomotive whistle.
Yes, I did.
If you want to give your best.
I gotta get into it. This isn't like I'm gonna do a locomotive sound and then I gotta do the whistle. So there's gonna be a chicka 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 boop boop. That's its highest pitch squeal. The boop boop. I don't know why you would make that noise.
All right.
How about yours? I'd like to hear your rendition.
No, yours was so good. I feel that mine would just be unnecessary and rude to expose the people to.
It very well could have been a train.
All right, guys, that's the end of the episode. You heard it. It was just a train. So we have like a list of things that we try and find for like every episode. And at first, it was like when we were starting to do the podcast, it was in my mind, cryptids. It's like, yeah, like werewolves and vampires and like the really basic shit.
Yeah.
So like on this list of things is like, how do you become one, or how do you stop one? How would you like manifest one? Like you summon something, or how you would encounter one of these things.
But a lot of the time was like, how do you defeat one?
Yeah, but this one I have a way to ward off.
Right. So
there's something called a hex sign. They paint 7 pointed stars on their properties.
The hex girls.
I'm just gonna keep on going. Again, supposedly like they can still be seen painted on local barns in the area just to protect them from the Snallygaster.
Yeah, the picture that I saw was
we
like
will link to a picture of that in the description as well, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this picture is like a flower looking thing. It looks less starry, and there was definitely more than 7 points. I think they just pulled a picture off somebody's barn that was a flower and just put it in their article. I don't know. 7-pointed star is what I had.
I have 7-pointed star as well, but every single one I'm finding has 8.
7-pointed star if you can't count.
Yeah, I'm really confused about that. How do you make a 7? I know how to do 5. So you
do 1 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and then 4 on the sides. It's a real freaking looking weird thing. I also saw that its arch enemy was the Dueo. So if you could somehow get a hold of one of those, it's a Dueo, Dwayyo. Got the Wikipedia pulled up. I'll read you the background real quick. So this mammalian is said to be hairy, have a bush tail, and sometimes bipedal. At times, it has features similar to a wolf, but with arms. Weird. It's got arms like a human and stance and stature. It's a fucking werewolf.
So this is the Michigan Dogman.
Yeah, it is the moral enemy.
I wish I knew that this existed. Like, we would have put this one right next to it, and then we would have done a 1v1 for this.
Yeah, so they've got some vicious encounters, apparently.
Okay.
So catch one of those, and it will kill the Snallygaster for you, but now you've got a fucking werewolf.
But then you got to deal with
one
of those. So what
I guess at
The
least
devil you know?
I guess at least you could get some silver. You catch it in a silver cage, you release it to kill the Snallygaster, and then you kill it with a silver axe. Or gun.
Wow. So far, this makes sense.
So in 1909, there was quite a few different stories. I'm going to start you off with a little T.C. Harbach of Casstown, Ohio, who wrote a letter to the Valley Register newspaper in 1909, obviously. He told of a strange beast that flew overhead, making terrible screeching noises, as we mentioned. He described it as having 2 large wings, a very large horny head, and a tail 20 feet long. And a lot of these that we're going to talk about, they were headed this way.
What?
Like, in a lot of these next stories, I saw that they're like, and it was headed this way. Like, look out. It's coming.
Okay.
Get your pentagrams out.
Get your pentacles out of a bunch.
Yes, get your pentacles out of a bunch. You're going to get a Snallygaster attack.
Get a Snallygaster in your butt.
Yeah. Pretty, I don't know. He didn't really describe, other than it's coming this way, what it happened. Good story, T.C. Harbaugh.
Fantastic. It's really terrific news.
Not really something you should write to the newspaper about.
I guess there was some 18th century accounts of the communities being terrorized by the monster.
Yeah.
But again, I think this was the Schnellghost, meaning quick ghost in German. So I think this is like maybe slightly different, but again, not 100% sure because I didn't see anything specifically about it being like, yeah, there's like a big bird with a metal beak flying around, which honestly, like this is kind of, so there's a little bit of similarities between this and a couple other ones like pterosaurs, which we're doing soon, actually next week, but soon, I think, is just what we're going to call it.
Sometime.
Additionally, I had made there was a certain image I saw that I kind of reminded me of the bunyip a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also I've seen a lot of people trying to argue that the Snallygaster and the Jersey Devil are the same thing. So we haven't done a Jersey Devil episode yet. I'm sure that'll be coming in the future. But just real quick, the Jersey Devil is commonly described as a kangaroo-like creature with the head of a goat, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms and clawed hands, cloven hooves, and a forked tail. It has been reported to move quickly and often described as emitting a blood-curdling scream, which I'm not going to do because I have neighbors.
We've got to save that for that episode.
Yes, we don't need to confuse you
No
which noise is
here.
which, because then when you hear a noise, you're going to be like, oh shit, you know what? That's a Snallygaster. But if we did both of them, then if it was the Jersey Devil, you'd be like, wait, which one is it?
Is it the locomotive or the squealing?
But again, the sounds aren't
too far off.
dissimilar. However, a smart human being would say that phrase. Take your pick.
Which we are not.
No.
Another in the slew of letters to newspapers. There was a bunch of other ones from local residents. And I honestly don't have any. Didn't write any down.
Okay, I have a long-winded story or two here. So, the last sighting in Frederick County in 1909 occurred near Emmitsburg in early March. 3 men fought the terrible creature outside a railroad station for nearly an hour and a half before chasing it into the woods of Carroll County. 23 years passed before the Snallygaster appeared again in Frederick County. The first reports were received from just below the southern mountain in Washington County. Eyewitness accounts claimed that it flew towards them from Middletown Valley. The beast was often seen floating back and forth over the area and described as being as large as an airship, with arms resembling tentacles of an octopus. The creature appeared to be able to change its size, shape, and color at will. So that is also something that some octopus, I guess, can do. Being able to change, not necessarily size, but yeah, the camouflage. They can do like textures and things of that nature.
But, I mean, an octopus can like fit through just about anything. Like they have no
that shit is
bones. They
also
can just
disgusting.
sneak through stuff.
I got no bones. Although the creature made no attempt to harm any of the residents of the valley, most people sought safety in their homes after it flew overhead. All descriptions seem to indicate it was a Snallygaster, last reported in these parts March 5th of 1909. As the life expectancy of a Snallygaster is only about 20 years, the most logical explanation seemed to be the latest sightings was the offspring of the 1909 creature, possibly hatched from one of the eggs laid near Burkittsville. This all comes to us from westclark.com. I have another little bit still from there.
Do it.
The Snallygaster finally met his end in the way some might envy. The creature was flying near Frog Hollow in Washington County when it was attracted by the aroma of a 2,500-gallon vat of moonshine. As the beast flew overhead, it was overcome by the fumes and dropped into the boiling mash. A short time later, revenue agents George Dansforth and Charles Cushwa arrived on the scene. They had received information about the still, but were rather startled at the sight of the dead monster in the vat. The two agents exploded 500 pounds of dynamite under the still, destroying the remains of the Snallygaster and the workshop.
It seems like a little bit of a waste. It's a lot of dynamite.
That is a lot of dynamite, but if it's as big as a fucking airship, you're like, if we only do this and a tentacle goes flying that way and somebody can recognize that it's not like a tentacle of an octopus.
Are they sure it wasn't just like a blimp?
With tentacles?
What if it had some streamers? It's a party blimp, man.
So you're saying it's the birthday bus in Fortnite?
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'm going to get a drink. I would just like on the record real quick. I'm doing shots every time we fuck up, whereas Connor is doing a mixed drink, doing shots of whiskey.
So due to the great deal of publicity in the early 1900s, surrounding the sightings of the Snallygaster, the Smithsonian Institution offered a reward for the hide of one of these bad boys.
It wasn't like $100,000 or something in like 1909? I want to say it was like $100,000. It was a lot of money.
They're putting their money where their mouth is. Their front doors are.
I don't really understand the reference that you're trying to make.
It's an institute. It's not a person.
That went way
Moving
over my
on.
head.
Alrighty. Also, President. This is literally included in every website about the Snallygaster.
Yes.
So apparently, President Teddy Roosevelt, the old Theodore Roosevelt,
Good old teddy bear.
Considered. It didn't even it probably was a blip in his mind, but it's everywhere. Considered postponing an African safari to hunt the Snallygaster.
Again, that was in relation to a hoax that had been found out by some individual, is what I was under the impression that there was a lot of hoax stuff going around about it after some of the initial reports. And so then it just kind of blew up bigger than it was, and then somehow the president got notified about.
Oh,
I don't really know.
I think a lot of the 1909 reports were from these two people from the Middleton Valley Register. One was the editor George C. Roderick, and then also that paper's reporter Ralph S. Wolf. They attempted to gain readership, but I don't see how that would bring in. I don't have any. I don't have any other letters from. I guess unless this is the T.C. Harbaugh's. I guess it's the Valley Register, so it could have been the Middleton Valley Register. I guess.
Okay.
I didn't put two and two together until just now, but they just wanted to get more readers, and so they made this all up.
Yeah.
And I do not trust anybody that uses their first two initials and their last name. You are not real, sir. And I don't understand why we need to include people's middle initials in every an early 1900s name. It just doesn't make sense. Unless there's 45 George Rodericks, which I guess there very well could be, but this is specifically George C. Roderick.
So I don't have a ton of information about this specific bird. Okay, so there's something called a wandering albatross.
Okay, it's probably an albatross.
An 11.5-foot wingspan.
Balls.
It's big. There's a large species of bird. The largest bird species on record, Pelagornis sandersi. It's now extinct. Its wingspan measured between 20 and 24 feet.
God damn, that's huge.
Yes.
Did we mention that the intro quote was from Mountain Monsters? Is that where it was
no,
from?
that was where it was from. I did not mention it. That intro quote was from a Bubba from a TV show.
Mountain Monsters.
Mountain Monsters.
So if you want to check that out, it's on Destination America. This show is not sponsored by Destination America or Mountain Monsters, but if you want to watch their crappy video, go for it.
I watched like a minute and 30-second clip of it, and there were some photos in there that I was like, I don't really see anything. I'll link to the photo. I was like, yeah, that's nothing. There was another one in the series of photos when I was looking into that a little bit more later that I did kind of see a face or something like a little bit
snout.
Yeah, it almost looked more like
a werewolf type.
The dogman or its enemy, whatever the fuck it's called, started with a D.
Dueyo. That's a song.
Let me say Dueyo, hey, boom, boom, boom. Now let me say Dueyo.
That's not what the song I was thinking of. Real quick, it is Shark Week this week. Ends tomorrow. Actually, it might end today. I think it ends tomorrow.
Not going to be by the time this episode comes out, but presently it is Shark Week.
Yeah, and at the time of recording, this is Shark Week. I haven't watched any Shark Week. It's probably one of my favorite weeks of all, but honestly, it's the only reason I pay for cable.
But you bought the glider on Fortnite, so I think that's pretty much the equivalent to watching everything that happened on Shark Week this week.
I mean, probably.
Also, you can just watch. Is it on Animal Planet?
Yeah.
Channel. You can just watch the reruns for the next 4 months anyway.
Discovery, I think.
The one channel.
Also, it's probably if you're in our region and you can have Mediacom. I'm pretty sure last year it was on demand for like a month.
I think I saw some stuff on Netflix about sharks that had just come out this week as well. I don't know if they hold that.
I think Sci-Fi also does some shark-related shit. They probably played Sharknado like 7,000 times.
I mean, it's Shark Week, motherfucker.
Why not?
Did you wear your Shark Week shirt at least?
Nope.
You have a Shark Week shirt.
I do. It's amazing.
And you didn't wear it on Shark Week.
I don't have big enough muscles to pull off that small of a shirt. I need to be almost flexing out of the shirt at all times.
Just look like a bull shark stuffed into a tiny little t-shirt. Yeah.
Fat man with a little Shark Week shirt.
Chris Farley was supposed to be the voice of Shrek.
That would have been amazing.
He recorded almost all of it, but they didn't have enough to finish the movie, so they had to fucking change it. And Mike Myers added the fucking Irish accent. It would have just been Chris Farley being like, ogres are like onions. I would have loved every fucking second of that, dude.
Somebody find that audio and sync it up with the movie right now. I will pay you. I don't even care if it's not the full thing. I will watch up until it stops. So far, this makes a lot of sense.
We gotta get fucking sound bites on here so we can reference things from our own goddamn show.
We have nothing. No.
What I would say is, if there is something that you feel would be worthy of a sound bite, let us know and we can figure them out. We'll figure out how to do it.
Even better,
get going.
On the Facebook page or on the Facebook group, start a post where you can add options, and whenever you think of one, add it, and then everybody go through and vote on the ones that we think we should clip, and we'll do that. I promise. I will do that if that's what the listeners want.
I could go. I have one or two, maybe. If I sat down and thought about it, I could probably come up with a third one that would be legit. But the only, off the top of my head, the one I could think of that would be funny is, fuck it, next week we're doing Cowboys.
I'm going to put that at the end of every episode.
Fuck it, next week we're doing Cowboys.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on the Snallygaster?
We have to do Cowboys at some point, I'm just saying.
At this point, we've discussed
everything
about everything there is. There's a little bit that we left out or just didn't really get to, but That's a lot of it. There's pretty minimal information on this one. Like
Yeah,
a lot of the times we're like, wow, I never heard of this one, and there's all of the information in the world on it. Or again with Jackalope, it was like, there's
honestly
nothing here.
There was more information than I thought going in.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is usually where I start, and there wasn't a whole lot. I did find some other stories. Pretty much if it didn't have a name associated with the story, I skipped it.
There's others, definitely is others, but this is like kind of most of it.
Yeah.
It is pretty minimal as far as what I have seen. And the 1909 and anything predating 1909 really didn't seem like the same thing as like a ghost or something. I don't know. We maybe have to do like, I guess October's coming up. We'll do some like basic
Ghouls and
ghostly
ghosts
shit
and
that whatever. That's just like not quite the same topics that we would really typically be doing, but you know how it is. It's hot out here for a pimp.
With that all being said, wasn't much. What do you think? Snallygaster, real or bullshit? Like, was there ever anything?
I'm not saying that there was nothing. I am confused because the comeback reports are, well, I think it was the comeback reports, but the size of an airship was weird. That's big.
That's very large, especially in 1909.
And it has fucking tentacles hanging off, and it's like, that seems really weird. I
For two dudes to just make this,
what I would
creature
say
up,
is it is made up, 100% fabricated, is a hoax, or somebody actually saw. Oh, god damn it, that's the dumbest fucking statement ever. Either it's completely made up, or somebody saw something. Like that's what I was about to fucking actually tell you.
Or it's
yeah,
fake.
exactly. Like I'm just, shit. Okay, I don't think so. The main image on this one is fucking awesome. Again, I will make sure to put a link to that in the description. Some of the pictures are very, very cool. I'm very interested in it. It reminds me of something that I can't quite place my finger on. If I had to guess, it's from Futurama, because what the fuck else do I do with my life?
Well, I'm gonna get off the fence and say it's bullshit. I don't like this one.
I don't think this is.
I don't like this one as a real being. Fantasy, great.
Love it. Fucking the story is absolutely beautiful. The imagery is fantastic. Some creators have gone to town with this and just made some very cool things. So something that I thought about the other day that we haven't really discussed on the show before is like mass hysteria.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
like where like there's a specific instance. I should have maybe done a little bit of research into this to talk before we talk about it.
No.
But there's like these instances of like the dancing sickness or whatever, where like some woman went into the middle of town and just like started dancing. And she did it for a couple of days, and then a few other people just like joined in, and other people like people died of dehydration or like lack of sleep or like starved
just
to death because they stayed
dancing
in the fucking street dancing and didn't go tend to their fucking needs of being of existing. And
there's that's not the only one. There's just like
there's multiple instances
like
of this.
Laughing.
I want to say yeah, that was like last year in like some school in South America. There was some like laughing hysteria thing where like all of the students were like laughing like uncontrollably, like falling on the floor over themselves, kinds of things like
for nothing.
Yeah, like just weird things like that where like people just fall into these things that they're doing for no apparent reason.
It's like they played
continue.
our podcast over the intercom at school, and everyone just died laughing.
I mean, that's fair. We are fucking hilarious.
That's the reason. You don't tune in for the cryptids. You tune in for the laughs.
But it's again, that's not something that I necessarily is super relevant in this situation. But I think in every episode, that's maybe something that
to consider for sure.
It's hard to be like, well, maybe they were just crazy, and maybe there's mass hysteria. Maybe we can go through a list of like 500 things every single time. But that's just something that we haven't really brought up on the show before, and I felt that maybe that was worth mentioning. Just
no, it's
in any instance when you have like an entire town. Fucking, I might have been mermaids. Like that would have been a good thing to bring up then, where you have like the town.
Yeah, the whole village.
Lady, like like we baptized her. She comes to the church and fucking, you know what I mean? Like she was buried here.
You're
like,
all high.
What? So I don't.
I think a mini episode like on an off week, maybe like
of like a topic that isn't explicitly like
cryptids,
where you
but,
can
like,
do like mass hysteria or something that would like maybe get a better understanding for some of the things
some
that
of the
would
sightings,
like. Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. I mean, we could do a full episode on that too.
Absolutely,
But mini episode might be the way to go, just like an off week kind of thing.
Like,
I do
yeah,
think
here's
that's
this.
Not a terrible idea either.
This instance. What mass hysteria is? What possibly causes it? I think that would be really interesting.
I do as well.
I would like to learn more about it.
This
I've
isn't
heard some
necessarily
things
like
about
the
it,
format
but-
for it, but again, if we do like a mini episode or like, hey, like this is an addendum just like to explain this, so that way, you know, then we're not just like linking to articles and be like, hey, if you have a question, like go look here. Otherwise, you know what I mean? You can just go like search it yourself. But we'll try and keep you in the loop. That way we get those download numbers, right?
Yeah, it's all about them DLs.
Ayo. We're both in agreement that it's not
Necessarily
it does not
a
appear
real
to be
being.
flesh and blood as it stands right now. Maybe when we start looking into the Jersey Devil, we'll draw some comparisons, and there will be some more information over there, and we can be like, okay, maybe these are actually the same. We'll have a little bit more discussion about the Snallygaster probably in the Jersey Devil episode. Off topic.
Now that we're off the fence.
Real quick though,
Okay.
shout out to My Town to Go bringing me food.
Also not a sponsor of
Not
the
a
show.
sponsor, but if they wanted to be, it's Counting Cryptids at hotmail.com.
Like I said at the top of the show, this program was brought to you by listeners like you.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. Again, I know you mentioned it at the beginning. If you have a suggestion for an episode that you'd like us to do or that we haven't covered or you think we fucked up real bad and need to do an addendum for, like
100%.
hit us up on again, that email I just said or the social media links in the description. We said it at the top. We'll say it again at the end. I'll say it again right now. Facebook.com/countingcryptids. Twitter.com/countcryptid. Just get a hold of us. Say hey.
Yeah.
The community over on Facebook is small, but they're all super friendly people, and they're all cool as fucking hell.
I mean, there's 30 odd people on that group, which is
it's
amazing.
surprising, but it's shout out to you guys.
I might have said this last episode, but I am very surprised and pleased with how much this podcast has grown in 14 episodes.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
everybody.
You. We love you.
We do. So last week we talked about the tassel worm.
Yes, we did.
Which was super cool. This one's kind of similar too, because again, that like dragon-esque vibe. So again, the 1v1s that we do every single week.
They could
find
be
that over on social media, which I just talked about.
They could both be described as dragon cats, or not dragon pusses, like octopus, or a cat like puss.
I don't think cat puss is what you're looking for, because it wasn't a cat and an octopus.
No. Cat.
Dragon cat and dragon octopus.
Like a puss, like a cat. It's a puss. It's a dragon with
like
a cat,
a pussy cat,
or a dragon
or
with
an octopus. So puss is okay. Okay.
It wasn't as stupid as it sounded.
It did sound pretty stupid.
I mean, most of the things I say are 100% stupid.
Okay, but who do you think would win in a fight between a Snallygaster and a tassel worm?
Let's review. Tatzelworm had venomous blood.
No, its blood was lava. It had it had like poison. Its breath was like gas that was poison.
Yep.
If it bit you, it was venomous.
I would assume.
So
what the Snallygaster got? He just swoops down, snags
has a height advantage. The Snallygaster can fly. The Tatzelworm could not fly. I put that on it. It could jump high.
Yeah, that's good.
In my mind, I was like, yeah, it's a dragon. It can fly. It never said anywhere that it could fly.
It was more like a
the
snake.
Snallygaster can fly. The one where it looks like it's vomiting tentacles is so fucking metal.
I mean, that is literally the only thing I'm picturing through this whole episode.
Yeah, dude. And the size advantage, I was gonna say Tatzelworm, but I think the Snallygaster, man.
Yeah, I honestly, when I went to review, I was like, okay, Tatzelworm is fucking badass. Fucking lava blood. I mean,
so
but
the Snallygaster doesn't appear to have any like really like supernatural abilities, where like again as the Tatzelworm did.
Steel claw.
This one's fucking tough. It had
Actually,
large talons, but Shit. I don't know.
Stumped, folks.
I'm almost thinking that the tatzelworm would take it because of
The lava blood. Lava blood, bro.
What are you going
But okay. If it has steel-like claws, Snallygaster has steel-like claws. I'm gonna just take that as it has steel claws.
Okay, that's fine.
I think also a steel beak. It might have been mentioned.
A metallic beak. Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, so it is fucking Wolverine.
Its bones are made of adamantium.
I don't think that Tatzelworm's blood was lava, but it was venomous.
It was acidic.
Right.
It was just like it burned holes in stuff is what the thing was. Lava was just like what we kept saying. It's just the blood is lava.
Like the floor is lava.
Yeah.
But so I don't think that with the claws being metallic or the beak being metallic that the toxicity of the blood would affect it.
Whoa. I was thinking I was going to push back to fucking Tatzelworm, but this time you fucking pushed me back. Usually you're like, no,
I
this,
cave
and I'm like,
immediately.
Nope, this is why. And then you're like, okay, cool, I'm in. But you just pushed me back. So my money's on Snallygaster because you pushed me back with the metal.
It can fly.
The metal gives it an ability to fuck the Tatzelworm up without it getting melted. If it was actually lava, no. But if it's acidic, maybe the steel claws and beak can withstand it. And with the size advantage and the flying of the Snallygaster, I will concede the Snallygaster is the superior cryptid in a 1v1 with the Tatzelworm.
Agreed.
I would say that is your consensus that you talked me into this time.
Yeah, I like where my head's at.
Let us know what you guys think. That poll's going to be over on social media. It'll get posted on Twitter probably Friday or Saturday after the release. It usually gets posted a day or two late.
If you didn't hear the URLs 2 times
the first
before,
4 times.
It'll also be at the end of Facebook.com/Counting Cryptids and Twitter.com/CountCryptids.
If you can't tell, we're really pushing the social media. And for like the people that are already involved in the social media, sorry you got to hear this so many times. Maybe you should be telling your friends a little bit more about the podcast. But,
definitely, yeah. Share
No,
the
I get it.
Facebook page.
I don't tell people that I have a podcast, so I'm not offended.
Not
if you
something I
don't
promote
fucking-
either.
Yeah, I don't run around and be like, hey, listen to my podcast, guys. I talk about animals that aren't real. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I
think
get
I've
it.
told
You know what I mean?
one
Like,
person.
If you go to work and you're like, just like talking about Bigfoot all the time, I'm sure people are like, the fuck's wrong with Susan? I don't know if anybody listens named Susan, but I'm sorry. If that's the case, I wasn't trying to single you out.
If your name is Susan, shout out to you.
Follow us on Facebook and let us know your name is Susan.
Also, real quick, we didn't have any new reviews for this week, but we've had 6 on Facebook and a handful on iTunes. If you've left a review somewhere we haven't checked, one of those 2 places primarily, let us know on Facebook, email us. Honestly, if you just post on Facebook and say, hey, you're fucking awesome, I will probably read it on
You
air.
don't have to do it as a review. Yeah, just like drop by, let us know, say, hey, I heard the part where you specifically at the end told me to go do this, so I am doing that.
We definitely love
know.
the feedback we've been getting.
Yeah, and all of it's been amazing. Thank you guys so much.
I know we've been kind of
Love you all.
rambling on about this for the last 5 minutes, but
I've been taking shots, so I'm a little
appreciate
drunk
it.
and is to be expected. I think by this point, anybody that's still listening is aware of the situation. So
yeah.
I mean, just of how
the
fucking
drinking.
stupid. Yeah. How dumb we are. So now it is off topic. Usually we go from on topic, being like, 1v1. Last week we posted this exact same thing. So again, last week we asked the 1v1 question of the Tatzelworm and
the
Jackalope, which was the episode prior to that. And Connor has the results pulled up right now in front of him.
I do.
I do declare.
Alrighty. So on Facebook, all of our lovely Facebook fans agreed with us The tatzelworm.
100%?
100%.
Across the board, tatzelworm kicks ass on Facebook. Over the jackalope.
In general. The Twitter, there was a handful of jackalope lovers. Don't blame them. Cute.
A handful of jackalovers.
Jackalovers.
That sounds so dirty when you say a handful and jack, right? Okay.
Handful of jackalovers. I love a jackal.
Make sure that giggle gets removed. I'm not sure what that laugh was.
71% tatzelworms. That's 171% tatzelworm.
And was it 21%?
If my math is correct.
If my math is correct,
171%
over twice the people that voted for the tatzelworm.
These are facts.
I carried the one.
I don't know what the math is on that, but tatzelworm for the win.
Yeah, tatzelworm definitely won and agreed. Thank you. If you were one of the individuals who voted for the jackalope, hit us up on social media and let us know why you were a troll. But I'm just curious.
You obviously don't know what a tatzelworm is, and you're just voting because you've heard of jackalope.
I mean, or you're just like maybe you're one of the people who wants to watch the world burn.
Maybe you know something we don't.
Yeah, like
let us know.
Let us know that you were one of the people who voted for that. And like if you have reasoning, again, for every single 1v1, if you have want to show your work, I would love that. Or
you've listened, even in any episode, if we miss something, let us know,
yeah, always,
please.
Like super interested in when people leave, I love when people leave reviews and yeah, this podcast is awesome. They're fucking stupid and everything they say is wrong, but they're funny and I like it. I love those reviews. You're telling me I'm dumb, but you're also yeah, the podcast is awesome. I know I'm dumb.
I'm pretty sure
I
in
think
the
I'm
one
fucking hilarious.
We're legends. I think he started out with pretty much they're dumb as fuck.
No. He said all he said was absolute legends. Vanessa said that she didn't call us idiots. She just said that our pronunciations are atrocious.
Which is
again,
true.
It's fucking fair.
We don't claim to be experts.
The alcohol does not help. Hey, we are self-proclaimed
legends.
Scientists or doctors? I don't remember.
I am not a doctor.
I am not a doctor.
But I am a legend.
According to Facebook.
Which is
and
all that matters.
iTunes reviews. My air just turned on. This ending
legends.
is going to be a little bit awkward to edit some stuff out of. But again, head over to social media. I'm not going to give you those fucking links again because there's another time that's going to be told in 45 seconds. Go to social media. No. Go to social media, answer this week's poll. Leave a review, follow, join the group, fucking say what's up. There's a thing over there of some of the people on the Facebook
Vanessa
group posted
about
wanting to see hey where's
you
everybody from? We're involved in this small group and it's pretty widespread. So if you want to go over there and it's been a while since that was posted, but just scroll down a little bit and it's not far down.
It's definitely near the top. Yeah,
it's not far down. Just go throw that out there too. Just let everybody know where you're from and just start to get involved with the community, whether or not it ultimately has anything to do with us or not. It's some cool people over there. And
definitely Lucas has some great fan art on there.
Lucas has been drawing a bunch of shit for us.
Tons of
again shout
pictures.
out to Lucas for that and this was his this episode. Yeah.
Man, we have some good fucking people. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Honestly, this has been super cool because this we started doing a podcast a while ago. And it was kind of just a real half-assed thing that never really happened. And then we changed a couple of things around and started putting a little bit more effort and taking it a little bit seriously. And everybody was immediately just jumping on board and just super into it. So it's been really cool so far, just with the half-assed effort that we've put into what we've done so far.
It makes me regret not spending more time researching.
Every single episode, I'm God, I wish I could do more for these people. But then every single time, I'm just more. I'd rather get high and play video games instead of doing research 100%. Right now. I was doing research and playing Fortnite simultaneously.
Yeah, you don't understand.
This does not need to be recorded, but thanks guys. That's really all this comes down to. A lot of love from this end, going back out towards you, showing the love to us. So. And also, the amount of downloads and stuff has been ramping up, too. So, if you're a new listener, again, hop over to social media. Let us know that you're new and which episode you started with and how much we've pissed you off so far and which one you hate the most. And
how much you think we're stupid.
Yeah. Just all those really negative things that the Facebook page is lacking right now.
Yeah.
Just head over there and just pile on.
Thanks for checking out this week's episode.
If you want to get your 2 cents in, answer this week's polls on social media.
You can find us on Twitter at Count Cryptid or Counting Cryptids on Facebook.
If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, or you just want to chat, you can email us at countingcryptids@hotmail.com.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and tell your friends.
He's been Connor.
He's been Jacob.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks for another fascinating installment of Counting Cryptids.